Welcome to On the Vineyard, a weekly podcast from the Vineyard Gazette Media Group on Martha's Vineyard. I'm publisher Monica Brady-Meyerov. We're so glad you're here. On the Vineyard is sponsored by Crane Appliance. Nothing but blue skies, finally. After several days of hazy smoke from the Canadian wildfires, the sun is finally shining on the island, and it looks like it will stay out all week. Coming up, the West Tisbury Farmers Market and a pierogi vendor in particular have been getting some attention.
Alan Dershowitz went up to Good Pierogi and asked, hey, can I have 6 pierogis? They were denied service. He made a big deal out of it.
More on the pierogi controversy later. It's August on the Vineyard, the busiest month of the season. Last weekend was the book festival with dozens of authors, including Danzy Senna, Wally Lamb, and Stephen Hahn, to name a few. This week, the parking lot of the Martha's Vineyard Regional High School is always full every time I drive by because of the African American Film Festival, which is showing dozens of films and discussions with directors and producers. I saw Invisible Beauty, a documentary about Beth Ann Hardison, a pioneering Black model who started a modeling agency and became a social activist who challenged the fashion industry to hire more diverse models. The film was so engaging, I forgot to record many of the best parts. But it ends with the now 80-year-old Hardison wondering what she wants to do next.
And still, even now, I say oftentimes, I'm still trying to figure out who I'm going to be when I grow up.
There are more films in the African American Film Festival this weekend, which ends on Saturday. The Gazette has a free program guide to dozens of events called August on the Vineyard. You can pick one up at visitors' booths and shops around the island that also carry the Vineyard Gazette, or you can see it online at eventsmv.com. And more than 250 corporate leaders in diversity, equity, and inclusion are on the Vineyard this week for the Martha's Vineyard Summit. The theme this year, New Era, New Rules, New Way. The opening reception featured a beautiful harpist and an inspiring discussion about representation at Disney theme parks. That's the sound of the historic press in the Vineyard Gazette offices in Edgartown printing the paper. And that means it's time to go upstairs to the newsroom and check in with Bill Evell.
So much of the commotion of summer resided at the West Tisbury Farmers Market this week, which is usually a mellow affair of customers and vendors eagerly greeting each other beside tables of freshly grown produce and homemade crafts and food. Not so much this week, however, as controversial lawyer and seasonal Chilmark resident Alan Dershowitz was denied service from Good Pierogi due to who he chooses to represent. Mr. Dershowitz blew this up into a full-scale media event seeking attention wherever and whenever he could get it. Ethan Genter is here with the details.
Hi, Bill. So this all started at last week's farmers market. Alan Dershowitz went up to Good Pierogi and asked, hey, can I have 6 pierogis? They were denied service. He made a big deal out of it, was talking to police at the scene. It became a whole ordeal. He took to his podcast to blast the purveyor of the pierogis. This all blew up, got national media attention. So kind of all eyes were turned back at the farmers market this week as Good Pierogi's there every Wednesday.
Yeah, and so let's tell the listeners about who runs and owns Good Pierogi and why this stand was taken.
Yes, Good Pierogi is owned by Krem Miskovich. Krem started at the farmers market this year. Krem is Jewish, which was kind of counter to some of the claims made by Alan Dershowitz about who was running the stand. And Krem's stand was they did not like the people Alan Dershowitz has represented in the past. Some of his high-profile clients are Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Donald Trump. And they said they know a lot of sexual abuse survivors and didn't want to do business with someone who was defending these types of men.
But and Dershowitz countered. He was saying that Krem was an anti-Semite, and that's why Alan wasn't served, but then issued the statement saying otherwise.
Yeah, and from Dershowitz's point of view, he's saying this is a public market. We should be able to, everyone should be served at these things. He's threatened litigation to the farmers market, saying if you don't sell to everyone, you shouldn't be a vendor here. So he's really taken a stand. He went back again, like we said, on Wednesday. Again, was asked to leave after a real commotion broke out as he went up to the pierogi stand. People were chanting at him, yelling at him. It was quite an ordeal.
Yeah, and for those who weren't at the farmers market, I mean, there were, hundreds in line, I've heard, from our reporters that were basically supporting good pierogi. Alan may have had some supporters, but it was definitely very one-sided.
Yeah, and if anyone who goes to the farmers market, Wednesday is usually the more mellow day. Saturday is usually when it's really bustling. So to see that many people, it's 9:03, and there's already a line of at least 60 deep, and just kind of people surrounding this tent. He has since said that he plans to kind of return week after week as this kind of goes on. We'll see how it all continues to unfold. But yeah, we got thrust in the spotlight in an odd place. That's not the usual things that we get known for.
And good pierogi got thrust in the spotlight. And now the pierogies, potato and stuff like that, but they have some unique type of pierogies, I hear, too.
Yes, I believe they do a lot of kind of the more sweet berry pierogies I've seen they've done in the past. I've never had them myself, but they have a lot of new fans.
Yeah, and we have to have an office tasting test. Thank you, Ethan. All right, turning now to a tragic tale that emerged after an infant was diagnosed with Powassan, a rare and dangerous disease caused by a tick bite. Ethan Genter is again here to tell this story after talking to the mother of the infant about what happened and how her baby is doing.
This was kind of all started in late July. Lily Bell Cisco, her mother, Tiffany Cisco, had noticed baby had a fever. She had 102 fever, only about a month old, and really raised concerns. They both went to Mass Gen. Doctors couldn't really figure out what was going on. This past weekend, they realized that what Lily has is Powassan, which is this very rare tick-borne illness. It's a viral infection that can lead to encephalitis or meningitis. Lily has suffered some brain damage in the incident. We've been talking a lot about alpha-gal and Lyme disease, but there are other tick disease out there that can also be dangerous.
And that's part of the reason that Tiffany has gone wide on social media and talked to the press. I mean, sometimes you'd want to keep some of these things, health things private, but she really wants people to know what's out there and to be careful, because one of the things that really was scary in your report is Lyme disease, things like that. Usually a tick has to be on you for 12 hours or more hours. They say 15 minutes, Powassan can be transmitted.
Yeah, so what they believe happened was Lily got a tick on her while they were out on a 15-minute walk on the bike path in West Tisbury. And like you said, Powassan is a viral infection that can be spread in just about 15 minutes of a tick being on you. So in just that very short span of time, you could have this life-altering event. Most cases of Powassan aren't this serious. Obviously, children, older adults, people with weakened immune systems are more at risk. But it is a disease that is in ticks around here. We don't want to give people a false sense of security, but researchers had looked at thousands of ticks and realized it's in about 1% to 2% of those. Then you have to get that one to bite you, and it has to get transmitted. So the chances are low, but it is out there.
Yeah, and the chances are high for Lyme disease and alpha-gal, so you put it all together, it adds up to being very careful when you're out walking or on the beach and wearing permethrin, as many have said. Now, the community has reached out to support it financially.
Yeah, Tiffany's kind of said a lot of people have come to her. They've raised, I think, about $30,000 last I had checked this week through a GoFundMe to help them with their medical bills. They've been up at Mass Gen for about 2 weeks now. Lily is in stable condition, is what Tiffany had told me. Obviously, a lot to still go through, a lot to figure out what's going on. They didn't know the extent of the brain damage when we had last chatted. So yeah, it's definitely a scary time for the family, but they are feeling the warmth of the vineyard community.
All right. Thanks so much, Ethan, for covering a really hard story.
You can read more about these stories and all the news for free at vineyardgazette.com. So many things are going on this week. Here's a highlight of a few things that sound interesting. This weekend is MV Vibe Fest in Oak Bluffs. It's a free outdoor festival with food, vendors, and music at Waubun Park on Saturday. Organizers say it's a place to express creativity and celebrate the legacy of Black and Indigenous joy on Martha's Vineyard. This week, the inaugural Martha's Vineyard Gospel Festival benefit concert showcases Grammy Award-winning artist Tamala Mann and others in the beautiful old Whaling Church in Edgartown on Monday. And the Charles Ogletree Public Forum series continues with free lectures and a conversation on Wednesday at Union Chapel about protecting press freedom. That one I'll be attending. This time of year, the island swells with African American visitors connecting, celebrating, and relaxing. One of the most popular spots is Inkwell Beach in Oak Bluffs. One longtime islander, artist and Oak Bluffs resident, Leona Flew, recalls her memory of how Inkwell Beach got its name.
But we spent most of our time at the beach. We'd walk down to the beach. We used to go a lot by the boat wharf. When I used to go swimming at the so-called Inkwell, they had a pier that went out. That's how I learned to swim, because I got pushed off the pier. And at that time, they had the pay beach, and the blacks couldn't go there. Oh, no. And they had all the little stalls where they could change their clothes. And they put a fence that separated Pay Beach from the Inkwell. It wasn't called the Inkwell then. We used to call it Town Beach. And we did it as a joke because we knew what they were saying, the whites were saying about the beach, because that's where we went. So we said, oh, well, here comes the Inkwell Beach. So it became an inside joke. And then the old timers are shocked to see it on T-shirts and stuff. When I first saw it, my mouth dropped open. I said, But now, the younger bunch, they don't care, so we don't care.
Leona, known as Noni Flew, died in 2018 at the age of 94. Thank you to the Martha's Vineyard Museum for sharing the audio, which was recorded in 2004. Our theme music is from island composer and musician Michael Hayden. Thanks to our sponsor, Crane Appliance, where you have access to an extraordinary range of premium appliances with best-in-class service and expertise. Crane Appliance, they call the Cape and Islands home. I'm Monica Brady-Meyerov. Thanks for joining us on The Vineyard. Talk to you next week.